I 21F found my dad 49M on a sugar daddy website. Hi guys, this is kind of a long story and I just found this out and am still feeling pretty weird due to it, so hear me out. I'm just a stressed out college student taking finals from home and a few hours ago my friend texts me that she is scared to tell me something. I expect it's probably just something dumb she did, but she sends me a screenshot of my dad's profile on a sugar daddy baby dating site. I was just like what the fuck initially and I don't know what to do. I looked through the profile myself and it seems real and recent, but no way to see if it's active. The descriptions really grossed me out, saying he's looking for a discreet distraction. So basically I don't know what to do with this information. Should I keep it to myself and try and forget and just feel sick inside all the time? Some background. My parents are, I thought, happily married, well off, financially stable and with me as a good only child. So this is weird. Also very Christian and holier than thou, so it's kinda ironic. Should I confront him? That's like opening Pandora's box and I have no idea what would happen, especially since I am really close with him and admire him and I don't know how this is gonna change how I view him. It could be fake but I doubt it since all the info was correct unless someone is trying to fuck with him. I could also tell my mom but that seems like a bad idea and I feel so bad for her and I don't know how to do this. I just really don't want my family to break up, especially in this horrible time. There have been external stressors to our whole family this year because 2020, am I right? It would be hard for me not only emotionally but financially. I also feel very betrayed because my father has enough money to spend on a possible sugar baby and won't help me pay for college. Sucks. Anyways, I'm just looking for any input or anyone who has been through something similar because I just feel confused, stressed, and ill with COVID, school, holidays, and now this. There have been things in the past that suggested my dad was doing something out of character like this, like watching porn, which I don't care about but he acts like it's so bad, and I've seen emails from meetup sites in his inbox a few years ago and thought it was spam, but now it all seems to add up. I really strongly abhor cheating and even if he never did, the intent seems to be there and it just breaks my heart since I love my parents and my life so much. I'd definitely make sure your mom knows one way or another. These things always come out and if I were her, I'd be so upset that people knew and didn't tell me. Also, if he's meeting up with people, he could end up giving her an STI or something. That's always a risk in these situations. No matter what you decide, be sure to save evidence of the profile. That way he won't be able to delete and deny. Just tell your mom. Don't do anything else. Don't catfish him, don't confront him, none of these will end well. Your mom deserves to know as his spouse and for potential STD exposure. After that, it's not really your business. It's their marriage. Hopefully one or both will reach out to you afterward to talk about it and you can go from there. Try not to judge too harshly. Life is a lot harder and more complicated than it seems at 21. And, when it comes to sex, religion doesn't matter. Look at all the pastors that yell at the top of their lungs that homosexuals are going to hell only to be found with a gay lover themselves. Perhaps wait and tell your mom after the first of the year. Whatever you do, I wish you only the best. It always those who profess religious purity are the worst. Tell your mom and see how she wants to handle it. Send him the screenshots like, really? You can't afford to pay for my college but you can afford to pay for some other girl my age, bet he'll figure out a way to pay for your college. Just imagine how much more it would hurt your mom if she finds out several years from now and also learns that you knew about it the whole time and didn't tell her. I told him to stop, but didn't tell you, isn't really going to make her feel much better. And eventually your mom will find out. He's already slipped up once since you know about it. Any drama that comes of this is his fault for his own actions. You aren't responsible for the resulting fallout from bringing this to light. Don't be his accomplice and hide what you found out. If you were married and your husband was advertising himself on these sites, whether or not he went through with actually cheating, would you want to know? Or would you prefer to stay in the dark, happily, married to a sneaky person who most likely lies to you? If you would want to know, show your mom the screenshots. If you talk to your dad first, he has the time to invent a story about how good you are at Photoshop and will be able to spin the story to save his ass and make your mom think you are the liar instead of him, just saying all these horrible things to extort tuition money. Your dad's a sneak and a cheat. I would be sending the screenshot over and saying, so you will help a sugar baby out as long as she gives you sexual pleasure, but you don't want to actually help your own actual baby. I am sorry. It is hard to see our parents' bad choices. As someone who has been cheated on, let me make a few things clear. This is not your fault. This is not your mom's fault. Cheating is abuse. Would you freak out if your dad was physically abusive? I'm sure you would. The correct thing to do is to gather evidence, screenshots, and give it to your mom. You can do it anonymously if you want by creating an email address and sending it to her that way. If I was your mom, I'd want to know. I would sit your mom down and show her the profile. She will either know about it and has an open relationship or doesn't and he's cheating. If you ask your dad, it just gives him the opportunity to lie. Set up a false account, get some money out of the tight git and eventually, agree to meet up. Wear a wig and disguise yourself, and when you sit down with him, start recording, remove said wig and I guarantee you will get your college funding sorted. You definitely should confront your dad about it first. It has to be true and listen to what he has to say. Don't be difficult. This is a tricky situation, but be careful with how you act on this. No matter what you have to tell your dad that he either tells your mother or you do. This isn't something you can just forgive and forget. Say if your daughter knew of your husband's dirty kink affairs, you'd want her to tell you, close to your father or not. You owe it to your mom to tell her. Just for her overall health, she needs to know. I have come across multiple women in my line of work in healthcare that have serious health issues due to untreated STIs because their husbands cheated. You need to tell your mom before she gets an STI. Maybe they have an arrangement where this is allowed. If you knew your partner was cheating on you, wouldn't you want to know? Now you know what you have to do. Tell your mom. The other option is to ask your dad about it. If he lies about it, tell your mom. If he tells the truth, tell him he has 7 days to tell your mom. Then, tell your mom. Sorry. I know people who are on and signed up for a sugar daddy website out of curiosity and content fun, that's all, and wasn't intending looking for paying dates or paying anyone at all. Look, a lot of parents stay together unhappy because of their children. I know you don't want them to break up. But your mom, perhaps, could be happier or single or even down the line meeting someone else who doesn't pay for hookups. Tell your dad you know. Give him some time to tell your mom, and if not, you do. I hate to say it, but it probably isn't going to end pretty. The life you love so much is technically a lie. But it will get better. Just be careful. In case he gets mad and doesn't want his life possibly to fall apart, he may do something violent. A lot of people lately seem to be doing murder-suicides, and I just want you to be careful. Unless your dad is some sort of popular around town silver fox, I don't see why anyone would try to impersonate him on a sugar daddy website. Tell your mom. Apologies, I read this wrong. Tell your mother and let her deal with it. It won't be easy, but I think it's better to let your mother know than your dad. What a prick, he wants to pay for college for a girl who will fuck him over you. Nah girl, you owe it to your mom, tell her. Normally as an SB myself, I am totally against doxing, as nobody wants that happening with the sexual side of their life and their family, but people suffer because of people like him being holier than thou. Tell your dad that if he wants you to keep his dirty little secret, he can start by paying for your college. Also ask him to get tested so your mom doesn't find out the hard way. If he tries to turn the tables on you, like why were you on a sugar dating website or why you have friends as sugar babies, send the proof to every family member on both sides, but make sure that you gathered evidence before confronting him or he'll end up covering his trail. Haha, yet another example of the hypocrisy of religious people. But hey, if you need religion to teach you how to be a decent human being, this sort of thing is bound to happen. Tell your mom, she needs to know. It might seem like you would be hurting her, but I promise it's best if she knows. Speak to your dad about it. The fact a friend found it means other people could find it too. I think you should tell your mom as well. She should get checked for STDs. Confront it. Ask questions. Asking questions will get you to the truth. You can investigate yourself and then tell your mom about it. Christian. Ironic is not the word I would use. Tell your dad. Tell him you are disappointed and feel you should tell your mom but would prefer he do it. I would not recommend that you share this information with anyone else. Well, I'm not usually an eye for an eye person. However, if you say your father is a holier-than-thou type of guy, I'd do this. Go to your father and tell him you need help with college. If he says no, then tell him that you're going to look for options. One of your friends has told you about being a sugar baby to older men to pay for college. Ask him what he thinks about this. That's it. Most likely your father will get off that site ASAP. If your mom find out you knew and didn't tell her, it's likely she won't forgive you. Older folks think differently than younger people. And depending on how mentally healthy she is, and secure she is in herself, divorce may not be the only outcome of your mother finding out. And foremost, you said that your parents are Christians, so maybe her relationship with God will keep her from immediately doing anything life-altering. Having said that, she has to find out. Either you must tell her, or confront your dad and make him do it. But your mother deserves and needs to know. What was your friend doing at a sugar daddy website? It all sounds strange to me. I say speak with your dad first after the exams and see his reaction. Definitely confront him and ask if it's true, and if it is, your mom deserves to know. Your mom should know. Print out the evidence and mail it anonymously to your mom. Let her sort out what she wants to do. She deserves to know. Personally, I wouldn't want him to know that I know. I just think it would be super awkward. I think I would send him an anonymous note somehow and let him know that I'm a close friend and that he needs to cut this out. Your other options are to talk to him directly or tell your mother. He's probably been cheating for a long time, but it could probably convince your mother that he hasn't been, so chances are it wouldn't really help. Unfortunately, there's no good way to handle this in my opinion. If you decide to talk to anyone in your family about it, it has to be your mom. Absolutely do not mention anything to your dad unless you told your mom first, and sent her the screenshots as evidence. I would tell my mom and say, "Lol mom. My friend sent me this because it looked like dad. Lol. Let's look together." I would buffer myself from being the messenger by feigning ignorance. I would bring that as a dinner conversation, but frame it as if that is what it's happening to one of your friends. Say that your friend is unsure on what to do and whether or not to tell the mom. See how your dad reacts to that, and that way you will also find out what your mother thinks about the issue. That way you don't have to confront him but bring him down to earth and show him the risks that his actions might have. He will probably think that it is a lucky mistake that had happened to your friend. Have proof and evidence before doing anything. Make sure you screenshot, save every picture, and every bit of info. I personally wouldn't confront him because that may not end well. I would tell your mom directly and show her proof. If she asks how you saw it and you don't want her knowing you were on that kind of site, just say a friend or coworker, somebody that knows who your dad is, of yours saw it on there and sent it to you. I would let her handle it. It is their marriage after all, not yours. I know they are your parents, but sometimes it's best to not be the mediator. I would just tell your mom, and if you don't want to be in the middle of it, I would ask her to not tell you dad that you were the one who told on him. It can make things easier if you don't want to be stuck in the mess. Talk to your dad. Tell him to knock it off immediately, or else you get mom involved. Your gut will tell you whether to involve mom. Maybe you dad has some kinks that your mom isn't into. Some marriages are stable enough for things like that. What I would do is to mention it casually to him, about a friend seeing a profile that looked just like him. I would be careful about who you tell. You don't want to be posting a year from now as a 22 female college student stressed out with finals, financial help, parents spent all my college money on divorce. Blackmail him. It's the only logical answer. But what were you doing on Sugar Daddy site? What was your friend doing on that website? Could she possibly have a reason to set your dad up, or maybe just mess with you? IDK, it sounds fishy. I suggest leaving it be. Your father's sex life is none of your business. What he and your mother agree is up to them. Confronting him about it will bring no benefit. A polyamorous lifestyle is clearly uncomfortable to you, but that's not a reason to judge others if they choose it. Try to be more open-minded. I also realize you feel jealous that his sugar baby is getting his cash instead of you, but you aren't entitled to his money. Overall, it will be best if you keep this to yourself. If you really can't do that, perhaps discreetly bring it up with him in private that you stumbled on his profile, perhaps framing it in a non-judgmental way, like you are asking for advice about sugar dating.